Do you want to successfully complete the WGU C190 Objective Assessment for Introduction to Biology course? Then, you're in the right place. Our website provides a list of questions and answers with an emphasis on preparing for your success in the Introduction to Biology C190 course. In this video, we will cover questions from cell biology, genetics, biochemistry, cell processes, and photosynthesis and respiration. So, let's get started. 1. Which of the following best describes an abiotic factor in an ecosystem? A. A tree providing shelter. B. A rabbit eating plants. C. A rock affecting soil quality. D. A fungus decomposing material. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. C. A rock affecting soil quality. Explanation: abiotic factors refer to non-living components of an ecosystem, such as rocks, water, or temperature. Biotic factors include living organisms like plants, animals, and fungi. 2. Which macromolecule is primarily responsible for storing genetic information? A. Carbohydrates. B. Lipids. C. Proteins. D. Nucleic acids. Do you know the answer? Correct. Answer: D. Nucleic acids. Explanation: nucleic acids, such as DNA and RNA, store and transmit genetic information, while carbohydrates, lipids, and proteins serve other functions like energy storage, insulation, and catalyzing reactions. 3. Which of the following processes is considered anaerobic? A. Glycolysis. B. Krebs cycle. C. Electron transport chain. D. Fermentation. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer: D. Fermentation. Explanation: fermentation occurs without the presence of oxygen, making it anaerobic. Glycolysis can occur without oxygen, but it is followed by aerobic processes like the Krebs cycle and electron transport chain in cellular respiration. 4. What type of bond is formed when two atoms share electrons? A. Ionic bond. B. Covalent bond. C. Hydrogen bond. D. Metallic bond. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer: B. Covalent bond. Explanation: a covalent bond involves the sharing of electrons between atoms, while ionic bonds involve the transfer of electrons, and hydrogen bonds are weak attractions between molecules. Metallic bonds occur in metal atoms. 5. Which type of macromolecule serves as enzymes and facilitates chemical reactions in cells? A. Carbohydrates. B. Lipids. C. Proteins. D. Nucleic acids. Can you guess the answer? Correct. Answer: C. Proteins. Explanation: proteins serve as enzymes, which catalyze biochemical reactions in cells. Carbohydrates provide energy, lipids store energy, and nucleic acids store genetic information. 6. What is the main function of ribosomes in the cell? A. Store genetic information. B. Build proteins. C. Provide energy for the cell. D. Control what enters and leaves the cell. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer: B. Build proteins. Explanation: ribosomes are responsible for protein synthesis in cells. The other options relate to different organelles, such as the nucleus, storing genetic information, and mitochondria, providing energy. 7. Which term refers to an organism's physical appearance and observable traits? A. Genotype. B. Phenotype. C. Allele. D. Genomic profile. Do you know the answer? Correct. Answer B. Phenotype. Explanation. Phenotype refers to the physical and observable traits of an organism. Genotype is the genetic makeup that influences these traits. Alleles are versions of a gene, and genomic profile refers to the entire genetic information of an organism. 8. What is the function of mitochondria in a eukaryotic cell? A. Provide structural support. B. Store water and nutrients. C. Break down waste products. D. Produce ATP, energy. Can you guess the answer? Correct. Answer D. Produce ATP, energy. Explanation. Mitochondria are often referred to as the powerhouse of the cell, as they are the site of ATP production through cellular respiration. 9. Which of the following elements is essential for the structure of all organic molecules? A. Nitrogen. B. Oxygen. C. Carbon. D. Sulfur. Can you guess the answer? Correct. Answer C. Carbon. Explanation. Carbon is the fundamental element in all organic molecules, forming the backbone of carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, and nucleic acids. 10. What occurs during metaphase in mitosis? A. Chromosomes condense. B. Chromosomes align at the center of the cell. C. Chromosomes are pulled to opposite poles. D. The nuclear membrane reforms. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. Chromosomes align at the center of the cell. Explanation. During metaphase, chromosomes are aligned along the metaphase plate in preparation for separation. Chromosome condensation occurs in prophase, and separation happens in anaphase. 11. Which structure in plant cells captures light energy to carry out photosynthesis? A. Nucleus. B. Chloroplasts. C. Mitochondria. D. Endoplasmic reticulum. Do you know the answer? Correct answer B. Chloroplasts. Explanation. Chloroplast cells contain chlorophyll, which captures light energy for photosynthesis. The nucleus controls cellular functions, mitochondria generate energy, and the ER is involved in protein and lipid production. 12. What kind of chemical bond involves the complete transfer of electrons between atoms? A. Ionic bond. B. Covalent bond. C. Hydrogen bond. D. Polar covalent bond. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. A. Ionic bond. Explanation. Ionic bonds occur when one atom donates electrons to another, creating oppositely charged ions. Covalent bonds involve electron sharing, and hydrogen bonds are weak attractions between polar molecules. 13. Which term refers to the process by which cells release energy in the absence of oxygen? A. Aerobic respiration. B. Anaerobic respiration. C. Fermentation. D. Glycolysis. What do you think is the answer? Correct. Answer C. Fermentation. Explanation. Fermentation is an anaerobic process, meaning it occurs without oxygen. Aerobic respiration requires oxygen, while glycolysis is the first step in both anaerobic and aerobic respiration. 14. In what stage of mitosis do sister chromatids separate and move to opposite ends of the cell? A. Prophase. B. Metaphase. C. Anaphase. D. Telophase. Can you guess the answer? Correct. Answer C. Anaphase. Explanation. Anaphase is the stage in which sister chromatids are pulled apart to opposite sides of the cell. Prophase is the initial stage, metaphase involves chromosome alignment, and telophase is when the nuclear membrane reforms. 15. Which process refers to the movement of water across a selectively permeable membrane? A. Simple diffusion. B. Active transport. C. Facilitated diffusion. D. Osmosis. What do you think is the answer? Correct. Answer. D. Osmosis. Explanation. Osmosis is the diffusion of water across a selectively permeable membrane, while diffusion refers to the movement of solutes. Active transport requires energy to move substances against a gradient. 16. What process is responsible for the generation of ATP in mitochondria? A. Glycolysis. B. Calvin cycle. C. Cellular respiration. D. Photosynthesis. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. C. Cellular respiration. Explanation. Cellular respiration occurs in the mitochondria and generates ATP through processes like the Krebs cycle and electron transport chain. Glycolysis and the Calvin cycle are part of other metabolic pathways. 17. Which phase of the cell cycle is characterized by cell growth and preparation for DNA replication? A. G1 phase. B. S phase. C. G2 phase. D. Mitosis. What do you think is the answer? Correct. Answer. A. G1 phase. Explanation. The G1 phase is the first stage of interphase, during which the cell grows and prepares for DNA replication. S phase is when DNA is replicated. G2 is preparation for mitosis, and mitosis is cell division. 18. What term refers to the process by which a cell takes in material by engulfing it with its membrane? A. Exocytosis. B. Endocytosis. C. Osmosis. D. Passive transport. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. B. Endocytosis. Explanation. Endocytosis is the process of taking in material by engulfing it, while exocytosis refers to expelling material. Osmosis is the movement of water. And passive transport involves moving substances without energy. 19. Which molecule serves as the main energy currency in cells? A. NADPH. B. FADH2. C. ATP-D glucose. Can you guess the answer? Correct. Answer. C. ATP. Explanation. ATP, adenosine triphosphate, is the main energy currency in cells, providing energy for cellular processes. NADPH and FADH2 are electron carriers, and glucose is a sugar used in energy production. 20. What is the primary function of the Golgi apparatus in a cell? A. Synthesizing proteins. B. Breaking down. Waste. C. Modifying and packaging proteins. D. Generating energy. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. C. Modifying and packaging proteins. Explanation. The Golgi apparatus is responsible for modifying, sorting, and packaging proteins for transport. Protein synthesis occurs in ribosomes, and energy is generated in mitochondria. 21. Which term describes a condition in which neither allele is dominant, and the offspring shows a blending of traits? A. Codominance. B. Incomplete dominance. C. Recessive inheritance. D. Epistasis. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. B. Incomplete dominance. Explanation: in incomplete dominance, neither allele is dominant, resulting in a blended phenotype. Codominance involves both alleles being fully expressed, and episthysis is when one gene affects the expression of another. 22. What is the key characteristic of active transport? A. Movement with a concentration gradient. B. Does not require energy. C. Movement against a concentration gradient. D. Passive movement of ions. Do you know the answer? Correct answer: C. Movement against a concentration gradient. Explanation: active transport requires energy to move substances against their concentration gradient, unlike passive transport, which moves substances along the gradient without energy. 23. Which structure helps maintain the shape of a plant cell and provides support? A. Cell membrane. B. Cytoplasm. C. Mitochondria. D. Cell wall. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer: D. Cell wall. Explanation: the cell wall provides structural support to plant cells. The cell membrane controls entry and exit of substances, while mitochondria generate energy, and the cytoplasm is where chemical reactions occur. 24. Which component of a nucleotide distinguishes it from other nucleotides in DNA? A. Phosphate group. B. Nitrogenous base. C. Sugar. D. Hydrogen bonds. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer: B. Nitrogenous base. Explanation: the nitrogenous base, adenine, thymine, cytosine, guanine, determines the identity of a nucleotide in DNA, while the sugar and phosphate groups remain constant across nucleotides. 25. In which process is carbon dioxide converted into sugars using light energy? A. Cellular respiration. B. Glycolysis. C. Fermentation. D. Photosynthesis. Do you know the answer? Correct answer: D. Photosynthesis. Explanation: photosynthesis uses light energy to convert carbon dioxide into glucose in plants. Cellular respiration breaks down sugars, glycolysis is the first step in respiration, and fermentation is anaerobic. 26. What is the primary function of the Calvin cycle in photosynthesis? A. Capture light energy. B. Produce ATP and NADPHC. Fix carbon dioxide into sugars. D. Release oxygen as a byproduct. Do you know the answer? Correct answer: C. Fix carbon dioxide into sugars. Explanation: the Calvin cycle is responsible for fixing carbon dioxide into glucose during the light-independent reactions of photosynthesis. The light-dependent reactions capture light energy and produce ATP and NADPH. 27. Which type of reproduction results in offspring that are genetically identical to the parent? A. Sexual reproduction. B. Asexual reproduction. C. Meiosis. D. Fertilization. Do you know the answer? Correct answer: B. Asexual reproduction. Explanation: asexual reproduction produces genetically identical offspring through processes like binary fission or mitosis. Sexual reproduction results in genetic diversity through the combination of parental genes. 28. What type of macromolecule are enzymes? A. Carbohydrates. B. Lipids. C. Proteins. D. Nucleic acids. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer: C. Proteins. Explanation: enzymes are proteins that act as catalysts to speed up biochemical reactions in cells. Carbohydrates store energy. Lipids provide long-term energy storage, and nucleic acids store genetic information. 29. Which stage of meiosis involves the separation of homologous chromosomes? A. Metaphase 1. B. Anaphase 1. C. Metaphase 2. D. Anaphase. Can you guess the answer? 2. Correct answer. B. Anaphase. 1. Explanation: in anaphase 1, homologous chromosomes are separated and pulled to opposite poles. Anaphase 2 separates sister chromatids during the second division of meiosis. Struggling with your WGU exams? We've all been there. Welcome to OAExams.com, your ultimate resource for WGU success. Find over 15,000 plus questions and answers. Join our thriving community of over 10,000 active WGU students and an impressive 100% success rate with our premium exam support. Visit OAExams.com today and take the first step toward guaranteed success. 30. Which element is present in all organic compounds? A. Oxygen. B. Nitrogen. C. Carbon. D. Hydrogen. Do you know the answer? Correct. Answer: C. Carbon. Explanation: carbon is the key element present in all organic compounds, forming the backbone of molecules like carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, and nucleic acids. 31. What happens during prophase of mitosis? A. Chromosomes align in the center of the cell. B. The nuclear envelope breaks down and chromosomes condense. C. Sister. Chromatids are pulled apart. D. The cell membrane pinches in to divide the cytoplasm. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. The nuclear envelope breaks down and chromosomes condense. Explanation: prophase is the first stage of mitosis, where chromosomes condense and the nuclear envelope breaks down. Chromosomes align in metaphase, and sister chromatids are separated in anaphase. 32. Which macromolecule serves as the primary energy source for most organisms? A. Proteins. B. Carbohydrates. C. Lipids. D. Nucleic acids. Can you guess the answer? Correct. Answer: B. Carbohydrates. Explanation: carbohydrates such as glucose are the primary source of energy for most organisms. Proteins and lipids serve other functions like structure and long-term energy storage, while nucleic acids store genetic information. 33. Which term refers to the movement of molecules from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration? A. Active transport. B. Osmosis. C. Diffusion. D. Endocytosis. Do you know the answer? Correct. Answer: C. Diffusion. Explanation: diffusion is the movement of molecules from a higher concentration to a lower concentration, while osmosis refers to the diffusion of water. Active transport requires energy to move substances against the gradient. 34. What is the result of crossing two heterozygous individuals for a single trait in a monohybrid cross? A. 1. 2. 1 genotypic ratio. B. 3. 1 phenotypic ratio. C. 1. 1 phenotypic ratio. D. 9. 3. 3. 1 genotypic ratio. What do you think is the answer? Correct. Answer: B. 3. 1 phenotypic ratio. Explanation: a monohybrid cross between two heterozygous individuals results in a 3. one phenotypic ratio, with 3 showing the dominant trait and 1 showing the recessive trait. The 1, 2, 1 genotypic ratio refers to the genetic makeup of the offspring. 35. Which organelle is involved in lipid synthesis and detoxification of harmful substances? A. Rough endoplasmic reticulum. B. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum. C. Golgi apparatus. D. Ribosomes. Can you guess the answer? Correct. Answer B. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Explanation: the smooth ER is involved in lipid synthesis and detoxification, while the rough ER is involved in protein synthesis. The Golgi apparatus modifies proteins, and ribosomes synthesize proteins. 36. Which phase of the cell cycle involves the replication of DNA? A. G1 phase. B. G2 phase. C. M phase. D. S phase. Do you know the answer? Correct. Answer D. S phase. Explanation: the S phase, synthesis phase, is when DNA replication occurs, preparing the cell for division. G1 and G2 are phases of growth, while M phase refers to mitosis. 37. Which of the following describes a difference between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells? A. Prokaryotic cells contain a nucleus. Eukaryotic cells do not. B. Eukaryotic cells contain membrane-bound organelles. Prokaryotic cells do not. C. Prokaryotic cells are larger than eukaryotic cells. D. Eukaryotic cells lack a cell wall, while prokaryotic cells have one. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. Eukaryotic cells contain membrane-bound organelles. Prokaryotic cells do not. Explanation: eukaryotic cells have membrane-bound organelles like the nucleus, while prokaryotic cells do not. Prokaryotic cells are smaller and simpler in structure compared to eukaryotic cells. 38. Which process in cellular respiration generates the most ATP? A. Glycolysis. B. Krebs cycle. C. Electron transport chain. D. Fermentation. Can you guess the answer? Correct. Answer C. Electron transport chain. Explanation: the electron transport chain generates the most ATP during cellular respiration, producing around 34 ATP molecules. Glycolysis and the Krebs cycle produce fewer ATP, and fermentation occurs in anaerobic conditions. 39. Which of the following is a product of the light-dependent reactions of photosynthesis? A. Glucose. B. Oxygen. C. Carbon dioxide. D. Water. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer B. Oxygen. Explanation: the light-dependent reactions of photosynthesis produce oxygen as a byproduct, along with ATP and NADPH. Glucose is produced in the Calvin cycle, which is part of the light-independent reactions. 40. Which process ensures that each gamete receives only one allele for each gene? A. Independent assortment. B. Fertilization. C. Crossing over. D. Law of segregation. Do you know the answer? Correct answer D. Law of segregation. Explanation: the law of segregation ensures that during meiosis, homologous chromosomes separate, and each gamete receives only one allele for each gene. Independent assortment refers to the random distribution of alleles for different genes. 41. Which of the following best defines osmosis? A. The movement of solutes from high to low concentration. B. The movement of water across a semi-permeable membrane. C. The use of energy to transport molecules. D. The movement of molecules from low to high concentration. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. The movement of water across a semi-permeable membrane. Explanation. Osmosis is the movement of water across a semi-permeable membrane from an area of low solute concentration to an area of high solute concentration. Active transport requires energy, while diffusion refers to solute movement. 𝗏. Which process allows for the exchange of genetic material between homologous chromosomes during meiosis? A. Independent assortment. B. Fertilization. C. Crossing over D. Law of segregation. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. C. Crossing over. Explanation. Crossing over occurs during prophase 1 month of meiosis, allowing homologous chromosomes to exchange genetic material, increasing genetic diversity. Independent assortment refers to the random distribution of homologous chromosomes. 𝗏. Which stage of the cell cycle follows G2 phase and involves the division of the nucleus? A. S phase. B. G1 phase. C. Cytokinesis. D. Mitosis. What do you think is the answer? Correct. Answer. D. Mitosis. Explanation. Mitosis follows the G2 phase and involves the division of the nucleus. Cytokinesis, which divides the cytoplasm, occurs after mitosis. The S phase is for DNA replication and G1 phase is for cell growth. 𝗏. Which of the following is a characteristic of lipids? A. They are soluble in water. B. They store genetic information. C. They provide insulation and energy storage. D. They form enzymes for metabolic reactions. What do you think is the answer? Correct. Answer. C. They provide insulation and energy storage. Explanation. Lipids store energy and provide insulation. They are not soluble in water, do not store genetic information, nucleic acids do, and are not enzymes, proteins are. 𝗏. What occurs during anaphase of mitosis? A. Chromosomes condense. B. Sister. Chromatids are pulled apart. C. Chromosomes align at the metaphase plate. D. The nuclear envelope breaks down. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. Sister chromatids are pulled apart. Explanation. During anaphase, sister chromatids are separated and pulled to opposite poles of the cell. Chromosome condensation happens in prophase, alignment occurs in metaphase, and the nuclear envelope breaks down in prophase. 𝗏. Which phase of the cell cycle involves preparation for mitosis and checking for DNA errors? A. G1 phase. B. S phase. C. G2 phase. D. M phase. Can you guess the answer? Correct. Answer. C. G2 phase. Explanation. The G2 phase involves preparation for mitosis and checking for any DNA errors that may have occurred during replication in the S phase. G1 is the initial growth phase, and M phase is mitosis. 𝗏. Which process produces 4 genetically diverse haploid cells? A. Mitosis, B. Binary fission, C. Meiosis, D. Budding. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, C. Meiosis. Explanation. Meiosis produces 4 genetically diverse haploid cells through 2 rounds of division. Mitosis produces 2 identical diploid cells, while binary fission and budding are forms of asexual reproduction. 49. Which of the following components make up a nucleotide? A. Amino acid, sugar, and nitrogenous base. B. Sugar, phosphate group, and nitrogenous base. C. Phosphate group, amino acid, and lipid. D. Sugar, lipid, and nitrogenous base. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, B. Sugar, phosphate group, and nitrogenous base. Explanation. A nucleotide consists of a sugar, a phosphate group, and a nitrogenous base. Amino acids are the building blocks of proteins, and lipids are components of membranes. 50. Which stage of meiosis is characterized by the separation of sister chromatids? A. Anaphase 1, B. Metaphase 1, C. Anaphase 2, D. Telophase. Can you guess the answer? 2. Correct answer, C. Anaphase. 2. Explanation. Anaphase 2 of meiosis involves the separation of sister chromatids, similar to what happens during anaphase in mitosis. Anaphase 1 separates homologous chromosomes. You've reached the end of our first question set. For the complete exam preparation experience, visit us at OAExams.com, where you'll find thousands more practice questions and comprehensive study guides. Thanks for studying with us today. See you in the next video.